But here's what happened. So we get in business, and I've told the stories all the time, but the guy who helped us, Dave, and he's still best friend today, and he came from Victoria, BC, every single month to Halifax for years and years and years. In fact, we were making more money than him, and he was still coming out every month to help us. And he said a couple things, and the neat thing is, I'll tell you how karma is and how things come around and the Lord's plan for us, but Jean and Tammy, who you saw up here, they were the ones who flew from Alberta to Vancouver Island every month to help him. They did his first couple meetings. They went over there. They did all that stuff. So here they are, right? They fly over to help him 20-something years ago, and they're helping him get up started in the industry, and then eventually he starts flying out to help us, and now it all comes around, and we get to work together anyways. And so, I'm thankful to them wherever they are here in the audience, because they've definitely made a big difference for me in Atlanta, which means, a lot of you have benefited from that. And so Dave said a lot of things to me. Like he said to me, Claude, be careful who you listen to. You might end up with their income. And it scared me because all my buddies, and I was kind of, we started business young. We're 21, and we are literally, we were broke, even though we both had good incomes from the military, no kids, nothing. But what would happen is we saw each other so rarely that when we did see each other, we wouldn't stay in our apartment. We'd go get in a hotel room downtown or something, and eat out at a nice restaurant way above our means. And so we get broker, and just no one taught us how to really handle life yet. And we weren't even on a track, I would say, of being together, because we kind of met in basic training, and the next thing we got posted to some place. So it was kind of everything just rolled together that we would end up together. And then we ended up living together, and it kind of rolled from there. And so I know that if it wasn't for the business, if it wasn't for Dave, we probably would not have, wouldn't have that union today. And so there's so many small threads, but it all depends on the direction that you're heading in. It's not always the destination. It's not always the most important point. A lot of times it's just getting in the right direction. And I meet a lot of people when I sit down in the living rooms every night, and I say every night, but as I sat down in the living rooms every night, I meet people, and the most important thing is just the direction they're heading in. And like I said last night, sometimes their heads are in the ground just like ostriches, and they don't even realize they're heading in the wrong direction, and just getting them pointed in the right direction is a huge win. And you know what? Sometimes they don't even stay involved in the business with us, but they at least continue on the right direction. Okay? I've met people down the road, and they aren't involved in the business anymore, but the direction that we put them on, they're still heading in it, and their life's better, whether it's in the faith or any area of their life. We had some people who decide not to have kids because the world's a terrible place, Never mind, well, maybe I'll have kids and try the world make a better place, right? And so little things, and I meet their kids now. I bumped into somebody at Home Depot maybe a year ago, and they got 3 kids, and I'm like, you didn't want kids, you hated kids, all these different things. And now they have these 3 beautiful little lives. And I thought, wow, they wouldn't even be here today if we allowed them to have that defeated, negative attitude. Maybe the only difference in their lives, the only thing that we added to them was that they came around long enough to change the direction that they were heading in. Okay? And so I want you to understand that this weekend, if you're new, or if you've been around for a while, make sure you are heading in a direction, which means you have to know what your destination is. And I don't want to say caution you, but I encourage you to make sure that your destination, you've thought it through enough and you don't think of it too small. And I'm not saying this, sometimes I think, because I listen to Chris Brady and Tim Marks and all the PC, and literally they're about the least materialistic people on the planet. And I'm like, tell some stuff. Like for Orrin to get up and talk about his 18,000 square foot house, it literally gives him heart palpitations. Okay? He just doesn't like it. It's the most painful part of the business because for him, all the things that he's getting from his effort in this business today, not one of them does he, the money is just the least important though. I swear that guy, and we're not necessarily the same, but like Orrin, got up this morning, or when did we leave him? Last night at 3 a.m. He texted me at about 3:30. And then Tony, where's Tony? You drove him to the airport. Okay, what time did you drive him to the airport? 4. So he texted me, and then a couple minutes later, he's on the show. And I promise you, they didn't fly first class. They probably just checked in when they got to the airport. You know what I mean? I'm already checked in for my flight tomorrow. I already know, I've picked my first class seat. And Oren, he shows up last minute, and he ends up getting the middle seat in the back row, doesn't care, reads his book, And so I'm sitting in the front first, and I'm like, I can't let this happen. So I ended up trading seats with him so that he could be in the front because I feel so bad that, but he just couldn't care less. He's not into serving himself at all. I still have some left, you know what I mean? I'm like, and he doesn't even judge me for it. He's like, well, you're sick. He starts making me feel better about, well, you're 6'4", you need the extra space. And I'm like, he's just an amazing guy.